Our last, but certainly not least, speaker, Tim Chapman, is the Director in charge of ARUP's Infrastructure Design Group in London. He also leads ARUP's geotechnical practice in the UK, Middle East and Africa. He is a civil geotechnical engineer by original training with an interest in large infrastructure schemes. So Brian, that could be one for you.
I would say so, thank you. First of all, well, from my side, welcome to ARUP. We are a large organisation, well, actually very small compared to some of the ones spoken about, who design infrastructure and all other types of the built environment. And actually in this very room with John about a year ago, I came across this particular way of thinking which I really enjoyed. John loves quotes, and again, reading through the book is littered with them. And there's one from Machiavelli which I really love. There's nothing more difficult to carry out, nor more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to handle than to initiate a new order of things. Now that was written in 1513, but actually it's just as applicable today. And I think in this part of the world in 1513, Henry VIII was still a happily married man, married to his first wife. He was beating the French in the Battle of Spurs in the same year, and the Scots, some things never change, in the Battle of Flodden, again 1513. We've come a long way since then, but actually the issues remain exactly the same. I'm always impressed by the sophistication of Machiavelli. I think it's very unfortunate he got such a bad name, because the thinking behind it is immense. And if you put yourself in the place of a prince of a small Italian state, surrounded by neighbours who are always scheming to try and take you over, you have to be fairly clever in your thinking. So it's very, very appropriate that John uses Machiavelli in this book in terms of sophistication of thinking and other things. As I said before, I met John at a earlier event in this very room. He was chairing a really, really good session, and we had a conversation in front of an audience about how engineers don't have whole system thinking often enough. And actually we were lamenting the fact that actually not enough engineers learn whole system thinking as part of their degrees. I think, John, you quoted at the time only 10% of people who did engineering degrees learned about proper system thinking. I come from a foreign country where 30 years ago, when I was finishing off my degree, we did learn whole system thinking, and I've really enjoyed it ever since, and it's really informed my whole approach to what I try and do. And the more I get involved in big projects at high level, the more actually you see with great clarity if you bring whole system thinking what the issues are. And therefore we were discussing how great it would be if somebody could invent a course that could be done. And John's given a course like that here, and there's quite a lot of his alumni are here in the audience who I think are great fans of what John's been teaching us. And John's also gone out to my colleagues in the North Yorkshire and done a similar course up there. It's gone down very well. We need to find another venue for John to do this, because I think as engineers we are in charge of an awful lot of how civilization works. In all the various types of engineers, we create the basis for civilization. We make sure that basically what we do nowadays isn't just hanging from trees, speaking our own urine and sort of foraging for nuts and grubs around, because the world is a very, very difficult place and getting increasingly more complex by the year. So whole system thinking, and when some engineers have slightly ruined it, go into systems engineering as a subset of systems thinking, which in a way is the antithesis of it. Because it actually brings a level of rigor and a level of automation, or a level of sort of which destroys, I think, the breadth and the creativity and the curiosity that John engenders in the book. So we need, as engineers, whole system thinking. My world of big infrastructure projects needs whole system thinking. It's the only way we're going to make sure that High Speed 2 serves the needs of the nation for another 50, 100, 200 years. Not just a whole lot of engineers saying, let's build a really, really quick train to get you from to Birmingham half an hour quicker than you got before, or back again, saying what more people are interested in, sorry. So we as engineers need to try and make sure that we bring this level of sophistication, because engineering serves society, and we need to make sure that that comes to the fore all the time. John's a very cultural exponent of the art, and again he brings huge colour to what could be actually quite a difficult, or is a very difficult subject. So I think his whole approach is a love of music, and his love of quotes, his love of literature, and it comes through in everything that he writes and everything that he does. He's also a great communicator, which is why I invite him to come here, and again I think that's really, really important as well. Because you can have many, many good ideas, but you don't actually wrap them in a package and sell them to people in a way that they're expecting or hope to. I think again it misses the point. So, John, thank you for the lectures you've done here. On behalf of the audience who have been here and listened to you, I greatly enjoyed the conversations that we've had. It's been great fun, and again I commend the book to everybody, along with actually John's lectures. Thank you.